Keep watching if you would like to learn how to crochet this beautifully textured corner to corner baby blanket. So to make my blanket I use this Stylecraft Colourburst double knit, but you can use any double knit weight yarn you like. I'm using a 4.5mm hook. You're also going to need some scissors, a couple of stitch markers and a darning needle to sew in those ends. Now this tutorial is made to accompany the written pattern, and the written pattern comes with sizes from security blanket up until throw. So if you need to know all the details from how much yarn you'll need for each size and all of the different sizes, then please refer to the written pattern. So I'm going to start by putting a slip knot on my hook, and I'm going to chain 4. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to start by working into this first chain. So I'm going to put a single crochet in there, chain 1, and then a double crochet into that same stitch, and that's our first row. So we're now going to chain 3 and turn, and we're now going to work into the space between that double crochet and the single crochet. So you've got that chain 1 space just here, and we're going to go in with a single crochet into that space, chain 1, and a double crochet into that same space. And we're now going to work into that chain 3 space. That's the chain 3 from the last row. So we're going to put a single crochet in there, chain 1, and a double crochet. And that's our second row finished. We're going to chain 3 and turn, and again we're looking for that chain 1 space. We're going to put a single crochet in there, chain 1, and a double crochet. We're going to look for the next chain 1 space, which is here. You can see between the double crochet and the single crochet. So we're going to put a single crochet in there, chain 1, and a double crochet. This is such an easy pattern repeat to remember. And now we're looking for that chain space at the end. So we're going to put a single crochet in there, chain 1, and a double crochet, and chain 3 and turn, and then we're going to do that all over again. We're just going to keep repeating that. So look for that first chain space, put a single crochet in there, chain 1, double crochet, look for the next chain space. So you're always looking between the single crochet and the double crochet for that chain 1 space. And we're going to go right in there with a single crochet, chain 1, and a double crochet. And then we look for the next chain 1 space, and we're going to do exactly the same, single crochet, chain 1, double crochet. And then when you get to the end of the row, you're looking for that chain space. So we're going to put a single crochet in there, chain 1, and a double crochet. And then we're going to chain 3 and turn, and you're just going to repeat that row, and you can see we've got the triangle shape is starting to form already. So you're just going to keep going until the measurement across here, this measurement here or here along the right angle of the triangle, is the measurement you're going to need. So you'll just keep going until your blanket is as wide as you want it to be, or until it's the size that is recommended in the pattern for the size that you're making. So I've gone ahead and added a few more rows just so you can see how the blanket develops. Now, if you want to have an idea about what size to make your blanket, I have a free resource that you can get. It's a PDF download. It's absolutely free, and it gives you all the different sizes for different blankets. So if you would like to get that, just keep watching to the end and I'll let you know how you can get that at the end of the video. Right, so what we're going to do now, I'm going to assume that this is as wide as I want my blanket in this small swatch, and we're going to start working our decreases. So for our next row, we're going to chain 2, And I'm actually going to pop a stitch marker around the chain 2 like so, and this just helps to know where you need to put your last stitches, because it gets a little bit tricky to see from now on. And we're going to turn, and just as normal we're going to look for that first chain space, and we're going to put a single crochet, chain 1 and a double crochet, and then we're going to carry on across as normal. So in each chain space it's a single crochet, chain 1, double crochet. So you just keep going until you get to the end of the row. Once you're at the end of the row, I'll show you what we're going to do at the end. So I'm coming up to the end of the row. I've got my last chain 1 space here, and then my chain 3 space. And what we're going to do is we're going to single crochet 2 together across those both spaces. But you want to make this single crochet 2 together quite loose. So I'm going to put my hook into that chain 1 space, pull up that loop, and then put my hook into the chain 3 space and pull up a loop. And then loosely we're just going to finish off that single crochet stitch. Then I'm going to chain 2 and turn, and I'm going to put a stitch marker around that chain 2 again, just like that, and we'll turn. And now we're going to look for that first chain 1 space, which is here, and we're going to put our single crochet, chain 1, double crochet, and we're going to continue in each chain 1 space across with our stitch pattern again until we get to that last chain 1 space. Okay, so come up to this last chain 1 space, and you can see I've got my stitch marker here as well. So this is the space where you're going to crochet your single 2 together over this chain 1 space and this space where the stitch marker is. So again, we're just going to put my hook in, pull up a loop, put my hook into that chain space, pull up a loop, and loosely we're going to yarn over and pull through those loops, and then chain 2 for our turning chain. And then I'm just going to move that stitch marker over to place it around that chain 2, and then we're going to turn and continue with the next row. So that last row is the row. You're just going to keep repeating that now. So I'll show you one more time. So we look for that first chain 1 space, single crochet, chain 1, double crochet, and we're going to repeat this across the row into every chain 1 space. And here we are at our last chain 1 space. So again, we're going to single crochet 2 together over that chain 1 space and that space where we've got our stitch marker. And you want to do that quite loosely. Chain 2. Again, we're just going to move our stitch marker over around that chain 2 and turn. So we're just going to keep repeating that until you've got one chain 1 space left. So you go ahead and do that, and I'll meet you back for the last row. So I've continued decreasing, and we're at our last row now. So our first chain space that we're going to work into is this one here, but this is also the last chain space. So we're going to just do that single crochet 2 together over that last chain 1 space, oops, and that chain space at the end. And that's it. So if you wanted to go for a more modern look for your blanket, you can just fasten off and weave in your ends and leave the blanket without a border. But if you would like to, I'm going to show you how to add a little shell border onto your blanket. I'm just going to remove these stitch markers, so we don't need those now. So if you're adding a border, you don't need to fasten off. So we're just going to chain 1 to start, and then we're going to start working across this side of our blanket, and we're going to be looking for those kind of spaces you get at the end of each row. So some of them are a little bit harder to see than others, but we're going to work into the end of each row. So we're going to start by putting a single crochet in this first space, and then in the next space we're going to put a shell. So we're going to put a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1 and a double crochet, all into that same space like so. And then in the next space, the next row at the edge, we're going to put a single crochet and then a shell into the next space. So that's double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1 and a double crochet, and into the next space a single crochet. So you're just going to repeat this all the way across the side of your blanket. And as you come up to the corner, just going to put single crochet, and then we've got the next space I'm going to put the shell. I don't do anything fancy for the corners, I just carry on around in the stitch pattern. And then as we go around the corner, that next space we've got here, I'm going to put a single crochet in there, and then the next space another shell, so you're just going to keep going around all the way around your blanket until you get back to the beginning. So I'm just coming up to this last corner, and I'm going to put a single crochet in here, and in that last space we're just going to put our final shell. Let's double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, and then we can slip stitch into that first single crochet. Now if you happen to have an extra space, don't worry too much, just skip over that extra space and just join to that first stitch, and then you can fasten off and weave in your ends. Now I really do recommend blocking your finished blanket. Corner to corner projects are notorious for sometimes being a little bit wonky, and as I said before, if you would like to get your hands on my handy blanket size guide, just type size guide in the comments and I'll make sure you get one. And for more blanket patterns, be sure to check out my blanket playlist next. Bye bye now.